Right before we jump into this video, if you'd like to take better pictures in only 11 days, I created a free mini video course that you can download right now at froknosphoto.com/11 days. Now let's get into the unboxing. Jared Polin, froknosphoto.com, and welcome to the Frodo store for an unboxing, sniff test, and mini review of this Tamron 24-70 2.8 VC lens. Now this clocks in at $1,200, and when you put it into comparison between the Nikon and the Sigma, Nikon makes a 24-70 VR that's $2,400. That's twice as much, and Sigma's Art 24-70 2.8 comes in at $1,300, which is $100 more. But I'm going to unbox this, sniff it. Also, just know that I took it out to the zoo to do some sample photos, as well as a few others around here at the factory, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. And you can also download those over on the website. So let's do this. Open up the box. It's white. There is some cardboard. There goes the cardboard. Here is your serial number, which is great for My Gear Vault. Always input your stuff. Go to mygearvault.com. Download it for iOS and Android. Paperwork, never use it. Just leave it in your box for when you're ready to sell it. So here it is. We've got a bag. That's a bag that you can put inside a bag to save your lens if you want to go ahead and do that. Pop it out. Box. You got some nice weight to this. This is very chody feeling, more chody than the Nikon 24-70 VC. This feels a little bit on the thicker side, but it doesn't actually look as long as the Nikon one off the top of my head. Now, when it does zoom, it actually doesn't go that far out, so that's good in case you're shooting up against something. You won't have to worry about going too far against it. You have your lens hood. I always recommend having your lens hood on no matter what you're shooting, indoors or outdoors. It's going to cut back on any stray light that may hit the lens, which may cause flare inside of your image. And it also can protect the lens from minor little bumps so that hopefully you don't scratch the front element. So here it is. And it smells good. It smells like a viable option. No, at the zoo, I took it indoors to photograph the gorilla because the gorilla was up against the glass and there was a kid putting her hand up against the glass, and it gave me a nice opportunity to get the shot. And being that it's indoors and there's not a ton of light, I didn't have to bump the ISO up as high because this goes to f2.8. You let a lot more light in. It's going to lead to blowing out the background even more, and when you put the VC on, you're going to get better hand holdability at slower shutter speeds. Now, I did a little test here at the factory where I photographed the bobblehead, which wasn't moving, at 1/4 second with VC on, and it was sharp. That's pretty good for hand holdability, but keep in mind, just because you have VC doesn't mean that you're going to freeze a moving subject. At slower shutter speeds, it's going to counteract any movement you have, and if the subject isn't moving, it's going to make it much easier to keep that nice and sharp. So you can see sample images from this lens, from the zoo, from the factory, from a brick wall that I took. You can download those raw files so that you can pixel peep to see if it's the right option for you. Now, who is this lens for? This is for the up-and-coming photographer that understands the importance of having faster glass, the 2.8, but may not want to spend $1,800 or $2,400. I forgot to mention earlier that Canon doesn't offer a 24-70 2.8 with image stabilization, so we can't compare it there just yet. But if you're looking to save some money and still get quality results, this is a very viable option for you. If you're shooting weddings, if you're doing video, if you're doing anything involving shooting group shots, my personal favorite lenses for when you have full frame is a 24-70 and a 70-200. Those are the first two lenses that I recommend everybody because you get a great range from 24 all the way up to 200 at 2.8 because this isn't variable aperture. That's what adds to the price. It's built really well. It feels good in the hands. The G2 series is a nice series that Tamron is making. And think about this. The Nikon 24-70 2.8 VR is $2,400. The Tamron 70-200 2.8 comes in at $1,300. So you could have a 24-70 and a 70-200 for $2,500 instead of just the Nikon 24-70 with VR for $2,500. There are minor trade-offs when you go to that lens that Nikon has. Is it sharper? That's up to you to determine. I think it's an unbelievable lens for $2,400. But I've run into some minor issues with the VR on that where I wasn't happy with some of the images I was getting. Now with this, for the price, for the $1,200, you can't go wrong getting in the 2.8 game. And then if you have a little bit more money to spend, I'd rather you save it from buying the more expensive Nikon glass at this time or Canon glass and throw it into a 70-200 2.8 G2, because for the same price, you've got two awesome 2.8s and you're covering everything indoors, outdoors. It's a great option for weddings. You're going to cover everything you need. 24-200 would be awesome. Now, the most important test is this. The wind tunnel test. How does it do? Even though it's a little chody, it does pretty well in the wind tunnel test. I give it 6.975 out of 11 on the wind tunnel ability test. Okay, video. Because video is such a big deal today, how is this lens going to be for video? If you're hand holding, you have the VC. You also have the 2.8. That's going to help give you a more cinematic look to your video, which is really nice to have. So this is a nice option for images as well as doubling for shooting video. It's going to give you a nice range. You're going to get that cinematic appeal. You're going to get some pretty quick focusing, and you're getting the handhold ability if you need it. So at the end of the day, for $1,200, I can recommend this as an option for the up-and-coming photographers. And I will remind you that when you invest in 2.8 glass, if you want to go ahead and sell it in 2, 3, 4 years because you want to step up to, say, a Nikon, a Canon, or something else like that, you can always sell this for almost as much as you paid for it because it retains the value much longer than any of the variable aperture lenses. So again, you can download the raw files from the sample images that I took to see if you like it, to see if it's for you. Let me know down below if you own one of these lenses and if you like it, if you don't like it, if you think that you would rather go with a 24-70 and a 70-200 for $2,500, would you do that? Or would you stick with going with one of those Nikons or Canons? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to check out some other videos that are going to pop up on the screen right now. You can go ahead and do that. And that is where I'm going to leave it. Thank you very much for watching. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.